Hey YouTube, this is Landon, also known as Redhead Takes, and today I just like to do a different kind of video from my last one, just about some players whose overall fortunes may have changed for the better or the worse since the beginning of the offseason with the new additions or losses. I think this season is just going to be big for a lot of players that have been big over the last 5 or 6 years that maybe I don't want to say on the downhill of their careers, but because of the loss or gain of players could see their fortunes increase or decrease with the coming football season. If you're just happening on this video, thank you. Give it a like if you like it, comment, share it around, and yeah, let's get to it. First of all, wow, I think nobody's fortunes particularly have, like, of any of the players that I may talk about today, I don't think their fortunes have decreased that much, but we'll see their skills put to the test. And one of those players is Patrick Mahomes. And I know I don't want to rag on the guy because he's been truly great ever since he's been in the league, but I think this year we're going to see how good he really is. Honestly, I think Tyreek Hill is just a game changer. Yeah, sure, they replaced him somewhat with Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS, and Mecole Hardman still around. Of course, you still have Helsley, but Tyreek Hill is so unique in that he's faster than just about any wide receiver out there, and he can beat anybody on a direct straight route more than anybody out there. And to say that bringing in Juju and MVS is going to be able to make up half of what they got out of Tyreek Hill, I think is just a little nuts. Now, I don't think Mahomes will be bad per se. He's still going to be in the top 10 of the league. They'll still probably make the playoffs, but I think this year will really put his overall skills to the test. Not saying that his receivers made him, but I think this system that he's in works so well for him. I think if he would have went anywhere else, like if the Bears had taken him, he would not be in his position he is right now. So, and with Kelsey getting a year older, eventually he's going to break down a little bit. So, we'll see. I think he'll still be top 10 player, but I think he'll see a little bit of regression, kind of like he did last year. Next players, we got Davante. I know, Packer fan. I'm not going to hate on the guy. I love Davante. He's been a great player to watch over his whole career in Green Bay. But I like to point out, remember, trendy Packer fans that may be watching this, Davante, after his first 2 years, everybody was prepared to run him out of the league. I'd like to not try to toot my own horn, but I was not one of those people saying that he needs more time and that he'll find his footing, that he's shown flashes, and sure enough, he's been just arguably one of the top 3 best wide receivers the last 5 years. So today I'm not going to rag on the guy, but I think in the long run, him being gone from the Packers will help a lot. I mean, they're still headed straight for a cap cliff in the next couple years, especially after Aaron Rodgers retires. We may see a long nuclear winter as a Packer fan. I have my optimisms. I still think Jordan Love can be somewhat of a replacement unless the Packers draft somebody else in the next couple years. But back to Davante. With the Raiders, sure, he will be pairing back up with Derek Carr, his college teammate. But, I mean, honestly, I love Derek Carr. I think he's an underrated quarterback, but let's be honest, he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's just not. And sure, they gave him all the money in the world, but now the Raiders are going to be in a cap crunch of their own for the next several years because they spent, I think already in this offseason, they spent $240 million on 5 players. It's insane. And with the division they're going to be in, who knows? We'll really see what's going to happen. I think he's still going to be a great wide receiver in the end, but I think by the end of the season he won't be a top 10 wide receiver. I'll go out on a limb and say he will not be a top 10 simply because of that division, and just it's not just going to be all bunnies and rainbows with this, so it might be a little bit of a learning curve. Well, maybe not too much, but it's going to be a whole new system, and in the long run, I guess we'll see. I think he'll still be a great player, but top 10, I'm not so certain. I guess since Davante, good player. I have no ill will for him. I hope he does well in Las Vegas, even though Las Vegas just sucks. I hate it so much. And that owner doesn't deserve any success that may come their way. But he'll be good. Not top 10, but a good player. So I guess to continue the theme with what I've been doing, since I've been focusing on the AFC West, I guess we shall go to the Broncos with Russell Wilson. Let's start with him. Now, we'll see. Honestly, I think this will be a great step for him. He finally gets out of Seattle, finally gets to strike out on his own. But I think, again, we'll get to see how good he really is. I know, again, he's a player I don't want to rag on. He's been a great player. But I'd like to point out that although he's been good, how much success has he had with Seattle since the end of the Legion of Boom? I'll wait. How many playoff games have they won since it's happened? I think they've only had 1 or 2, maybe. But yeah, their fortunes have certainly decreased in the last couple of years. Yeah, last year he had his injury concern, but even if he played all year long, I don't think they would have made the playoffs, honestly, because their defense is just a wreck. So it's their offensive line, and it's going to be a long season for Seattle. But back to Russell Wilson in Denver, I think he should do pretty good. I'm really excited to see Jerry Jeudy explode. I've had him on my fantasy team for the past couple of 2 years, waiting for him to finally show it. Now, again, part of it is because his quarterback play has not been great. It's actually been pretty terrible. And last year he missed half the season with an injury. But when he came back, and honestly, I think it really wasn't his fault last year. I mean, he caught just about everything he had, but every time he was on the field, he seemed to be in the slot, or he'd turn him out, and he wouldn't be in a straight line for down the field type of throw, probably because Drew Lock can't throw that ball. But I think this will be a defining year for Jerry Jeudy. I like his chances to be a 10 touchdown, 1,200 yard receiver this year. But we'll see. We'll see how it all meshes with Russell Wilson in this new system. We'll see how he is finally away from that totally unfair advantage known as the 12th man. I think he should be pretty good. Probably top 10. But yeah, I think it'll be a transition for them. They have a great rushing attack. Javonte Williams. Hopefully he'll be able to take the next step. And their defense looks incredible. But again, it's Denver. Denver hasn't really shown a lot the last couple of years. They've just been pretty mediocre. Haven't been really much since Peyton Manning left. So I guess we'll see Russell Wilson should probably be a top 10 quarterback this year, but let's temper our expectations and not think that he's just going to ball out game one. Let's give him a couple games. Let's actually see if he plays it all in the preseason. So I guess to continue the theme again, we'll finish off with one more player. We'll finish with the LA Chargers, with Justin Herbert for one. I love Justin Herbert. I always felt he was going to be a great quarterback. He's just got it. He's got it all. He's got a great team. The Chargers have made a lot of additions, even though their owner Dean Spanos can suck a giant dick. But I think the Chargers should. I think they're dark horse for first place in their division, maybe a number 2 seed if all goes well, if they can just make it through a season without shooting themselves in the foot again. Heartbreaking how they lost last year. All they had to do was call a timeout, or not call a timeout, and they would have won. But Chargers should be very well. I like some of their defensive additions. Offensive line looks like it should be better. I think that was one of their biggest issues last year. Mike Williams got paid. We'll see if he continue what he did with the last with his new contract in last year. Again, Austin Eckler is just a stud. Honestly, I never thought he'd turn out to be what he has in this game today. But he's going to keep being Austin Eckler. Chargers should be first or second place team in their division. Maybe a number 2 overall in their conference. Don't know if they go first seed, because I think that's the Bills. But I think should be a good year for them. I guess since I've been going through players in the AFC West for their division standings, I think it'll probably be Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, and the Raiders. I don't know what I give them for wins. I suppose Chargers 11-5, Broncos 10-6, Chiefs new seed. So 12-5, 11-6, 10-7, and then 9-8. I think it'll break something down like that. I think that the division is going to beat up on each other. It's going to be a fun season to watch for the AFC West. Honestly, I think I'm going to go on a limb, and I think Chiefs could finish in 4th place. Probably would be sacrilegious to any Chiefs fans that may watch this video, but yeah, I think 4th place finish is not out of the question for the Chiefs. Yeah, those are some players that I think fortunes have changed or gotten for the worse. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.